Are you a fan of crochet? In today's How to Slice, we're going to be checking out some crochet accessories. So let's start. So creepy, huh? This is the dragon yarn ball. As you can see, it looks really creepy. This model looks really nice. It's got multiple parts. So I'm going to be showing you the best settings to print this model. And as you can see, we're going to have to print in multiple plates. So let's take a look. So first off, let's take a look at the needle cover, this dragon needle cover. As you can see, it's got multiple tiny parts. All of these parts we're going to be printing at this plate right here. So as you can see, it's small parts. So what we're going to be doing is adding brim for this part, all this plate for all of the models. So as these are small parts, we're going to be adding brim just so we can increase the contact area, and we're going to be reducing the layer height. So over here in layers and perimeters, we're going to be, you can be reducing this a little bit more to 0.15 millimeters. You don't have to go lower than 0.12, but 0.15 millimeters is a good layer height because you're going to get a good quality, and it's not going to take that much time to print. As for perimeters, you can leave it at 3, and let's go to infill. Over here in fill density, we're going to be increasing to 15%. If yours, just change the value to 15%, and fill pattern to gyroid. Gyroid's a really nice infill pattern. What we're going to be doing over here in brim width, we're going to be increasing and selecting a brim width of 6 millimeters so we get a better layer adhesion, first layer adhesion to the bed table. So this is fine. Let's go to support material. As we can see, you do not have to select generate support material because for this build plate only, you do not need any support material. And it can be printed at your default speed. As you can see, this does not need any supports because all of the models are optimized for printing. We're going to have to select a little bit of support for the other parts, but for this, we do not need any support. As you can see, the horns over here go on this dragon right here. Let's slice and see how it's gonna look, this build plate with this small parts. So as you can see, I just sliced the build plate, and it's gonna take 7 hours to print, and all the models, it's got a good brim, so it extended right here, the contact area with the build plate. It looks really nice and it's ready to print. Let's take a look at the other part. So as for the dragon part over here, his wings, tail, and himself, as you can see, it looks really nice. And what we're gonna do is you can arrange all of the parts so they can fit in a single build plate. We're gonna have to print later the bowl itself and this ring that goes on top of the bowl. But let's take a look for the best configurations to print this highly detailed model. So in print settings, we're gonna go to layers and perimeters. Right here, we're gonna be increasing a bit just because it's a big model. We're going to be increasing the layer height. We're going to get a really good quality, but we're going to be increasing just so we can get, it's not going to take too much time to print. So at a 0.18 millimeter layer, it's enough to get a good quality. It's going to take a little bit of time to print, but let's prioritize the quality of the final product. As for vertical shells, we can leave it at 3 perimeters. It's fine. We do not need to change any fuzzy skin, neither of that. As for infill, we can leave it at 15. Gyroid, we do not need any brim because this model has got a good contact point with the bed table. Let's just add a little bit of a brim because this part right here, the tail and this wing, it doesn't have it's really tall. It's a really tall part and it's got a really small area of adhesion. So we're going to be increasing the brim width just to 10 millimeters. That's enough so we can hold the part on the build plate just to increase. As for support material, as you can see, This model is optimized for printing, so it does not need any support. Right here in the neck of this dragon, it does not need any support because it's at an angle that your printer can print without any worries. Just something what we're gonna do is reduce a little bit the printing speed. So over here in speed, we're gonna reduce all the values to 50 millimeters a second, just so we can make sure that it prints fairly slow. Over here in infill, you can leave it at 60, but make sure to reduce. It's better safe than sorry, because sometimes you can print fairly quick, but imagine your piece falling off or having some overhang issues and your part is not going to turn out great. So it's going to take a lot of time, and for a little bit of more time to print, it's better to get a good quality, right? So let's leave it at 50 millimeters a second. Just for infill, you can leave it at 60, 55, just so it prints a little bit faster the infill. So let's see, let's just slice the model and see how it looks, but it's gonna turn out really nice. As you can see, I just sliced. We're just gonna have to change a little bit of the orientation because the brim is outside of the perimeters of the table. What I'm gonna do is turn off skirt, so it's better to orientate all the pieces. So as you can see, I reoriented all the parts and removed the skirt. But as you can see, it's gonna take 1 day and 15 hours and 40 minutes, and it's gonna turn out really nice. The brim, it's good, so we can hold this part, make sure that this wing does not tip over, and it's gonna turn into a really nice final product. Let's take a look at the other models. So we're back, let's take a look. As for this bowl over here, that's gonna attach the dragon right here and this ring. The ring can be printed exactly as I'm gonna show the configurations for this piece right here. The only difference is that this piece does not need any support, but unfortunately this one is gonna need support. Let's take a look. Let's reorientate this piece just so we can see. I'm gonna flip it around, and as you can see, as it's laid flat on the ground, this region right here does not have any support, so we're gonna have to generate support. What we can do is go over here to paint on support and paint a little bit this region. So by painting this region right here, we can toggle generate support, and we got a custom support. Just don't worry if you mess up. So let's see, if you paint it wrong, you can select shift and paint over, and it's going to erase. So let's go back and see the best print settings for this piece right here. So over here in layer height, we're gonna be increasing the layer height to 0.24 millimeters, just so we can print a little bit quicker. Right here in vertical shells, we can leave it at 3 perimeters, and over here in infill, we're gonna be selecting 10% and leave it at a gyroid. Gyroid's a really nice infill pattern, and 10% is nice because it's gonna print a little bit quicker, okay? Over here in skirt and brim, we do not need any brim for this piece because it's got a good surface contact points to the build plate. As for generate support, we're going to be generating support. Over here in style, we're going to be selecting organic. Organic, it's a type of support that build branches, so it connects to the part. Organic's really nice because it's easier to remove and it looks like a tree. That's why it's called, it's tend to called build branches. What we can do is over here in top interference layers, we're going to be selecting default, so we can be removing easier the support. As for speed, we do not need to change speed because your default print speed is fine. It does not have tiny overhangs. Over here in support material, just make sure that you do not auto-generate support because we painted on support. So let's just slice. Before slicing, what I'll make sure is to, right here in this region that's going to build support, try just to leave some extra room so the support can be printed in this region right here. So let's slice and take a look. So as you can see, I just sliced this model and it looks really nice. Generated support right here, organic support, and it looks pretty nice. It's ready to print. It's gonna take 15 hours to print, and as you can see, it's gonna print. The support is useful right here because it's gonna give a good foundation to print this region right here. What I will do is just select a little bit on the front, but that's perfect. You're ready to print. So as for the ring, you can print exactly with the same configurations as I have shown you here, and the other parts can be printed with the tips I showed in this video. It's going to turn into a really nice part. It's fairly easy to assemble and you're going to have a really good result. So I hope you have found all these tips useful. I'll see you in another how to slice, and happy printing. Bye-bye.
I hope you guys enjoy it. Those slicing videos are an initiative from STL Academy, which is the educational project from STLflix. So if you guys want to learn more about 3D printing, you could check our description and look at STL Academy courses. And don't forget, see you guys at the next slicing.